Today I'm reviewing A Whisker Away, a new Netflix original anime film, and let's talk about it. Hey friend, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a good day. I was actually really excited for this movie because I'm a big fan of the idea of people turning into animals. That's just a cool concept to me. It's always visually striking, and I love me a good romance movie, and I like anime, so this is just a collection of things that I thought I'd really enjoy. So let's start out with some of the strong points of this movie. And I would say, without a doubt, the visuals are one of the key parts to get people into this movie. I mean, the animation is not the best I've ever seen in an anime, but it's really good. It's solid. And you have some wonderful artistic choices in terms of the background paintings and the sets and the camera angles and just some really great, beautiful work being done on the visuals of this film. The music is pretty good too. It's got some good tracks that have a nice upbeat tempo for what you would expect out of a romance movie. So solid choices there. And I would say that the total story that the movie tells, the whole thing from start to finish is actually a good experience. I would say that the place that the movie starts and the place that the movie ends, there's clearly an arc, there's clearly a change that happens with the characters, and it's overall an enjoyable, well thought out story. However, there is one big problem, and it took me a while to think about this, but I finally realized it's the structure of the movie. I feel like the movie has all the scenes that this movie needs to be successful. Like, it has everything it needs to tell the story it wants to tell. But the problem is, too many of these scenes are just in the wrong places, and it's just a little confusing. So let me jump in and explain. So the first act of the film, Mio is a girl who's in love with a boy, Hinode, and she doesn't know how to express this, so she does over-the-top antics and tries to get his attention and is just all over him, even though he tells her he's not interested and shows her every sign that he's not interested. But she doesn't stop, and she just keeps going and going and going, and this makes her look like a weird, crazy person, because even after her friends tell her to stop, even after everyone at school is making fun of her for going after this boy who's not interested, she just doesn't stop. And so it makes her come off as kind of unhinged and really weird. Then she gets this magical cat mask, which lets her turn into a cat. And she uses this mask, this power, to spy on Hinode. She goes to his house. She's allowed into the house because she's just a cat, as far as everybody else is aware. And she's able to listen to his conversations between him and his family, snuggle with him, just be around him as long as she wants. It's honestly very creepy. It's like the kind of thing you would expect of a stalker. She just really does come off as a creepy stalker in this movie. In the second act, we continue this. She's going to Hinode's house, spending time with him, but now he's more comfortable with this cat, and he's got a troubled life, he's got things going on, and so he starts telling her secrets and his innermost thoughts. And now she's using this information to try to win him over and manipulate him in real life. And so it's just this really weird, super creepy dynamic of somebody spying on him. It's almost like she's reading his diary or something. It's just ultra super creepy. And because as far as we know, she's just a crazy person. Near the middle and the end of the second act, we're finally getting some backstory about Mio. Who is she? Why does she act the way she does? Where's she coming from? What's her family like? How did we get here? Why is she doing all this stuff? And it makes her more relatable and understandable, and we finally are getting some context for all this stuff, which is great. The problem is, by the time we're getting this context and this information, we're like 45 minutes into the movie, so we've spent 45 minutes of the movie with her as being a creepy, awful stalker person. And so now we have to like switch gears and transition into being with her and agreeing with her that she should try to win over this boy. And it's just a hard sell. Like, when you spend that long establishing a character as kind of creepy and weird, and then you go over to the other side and try to make them sympathetic, it just doesn't work. And this was not the film's intention. They were not trying to make her creepy at all. They just structured the film poorly. The third act is really fun. We get to see all this otherworldly stuff with the cat masks. We get to experience this relationship between these two characters actually grow in a good, positive direction. We get to see a lot of cool stuff. It's really high energy. The third act is legitimately fun. The last 40 minutes of this movie is, I think, really great. But the problem is you got to spend an hour to get there. and it's an hour of kind of rough, awkward filmmaking. Had this movie taken some of this stuff from the second act, this backstory, and pushed it into the first 15 minutes of the movie, so we can see Mio and where she's coming from and who she is, so we can relate to this character, instead of just having her be this girl who's fawning over this boy with no context and no understanding of why she actually likes him. We needed that stuff earlier in the movie. And if we had that, instead of being distracted by the fact that she's super creepy and weird and stalking this guy, we can focus instead on wanting to be on her side and believing that if she just works on herself a little bit, she can win Hinode over. But that's not the movie we got. My final rating for A Whisker Away is going to be a 5 out of 10. I don't think this movie is bad. I think it's produced well. I think it's beautiful. I think it has some great voice acting and some great ideas. And I think the story itself is solid. I just think that the way the film was structured, the way the story was laid out, just made it hard to connect with the characters for too long into the movie. And it seriously was a detriment to the quality of the film and the enjoyment of the film overall. So if you're a fan of romance anime like Your Name or A Silent Voice, I think you will probably enjoy this film, but it's nowhere near as good as those movies. And you might have to just sort of hold on for the first half hour, 40 minutes until the film really picks up its pace and gets going. Thank you so much for watching my review of A Whisker Away. If you guys like the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.